G'day there guys, Marky here, and welcome back to another episode of r/relationship advice. Let's go. My 28 male, girlfriend, 31 female, of 3 years, confessed to me that she only started dating me because she knew that I had a massive crush on her for a very long time, and her roommate convinced her to go on a single pity date with me. So I have had a mega crush on my girlfriend ever since school days. We were in the same school, although she was one class ahead of me. Now, my crush was such that everyone in my school knew, like if I was anywhere near her, people would just give a mischievous smile to the both of us. If we were sitting near each other, then my friends would tease me mercilessly. In short, it was impossible for her not to know about it, but I never had the courage to ask her out. After school, we moved to different parts of the world for our education, and we were not even Facebook friends. Anyways, around 3.5 years ago, I was attending the birthday celebrations of a friend when I saw her again. It was her alright, only she had become even more gorgeous and badass. The friend whose birthday I was attending was a mutual friend from our school, and he of course knew about my crush. There were 2 or 3 more mutual friends there who also knew, and they kept encouraging me to go and talk to her. So I finally went up to her with my heart in my mouth, and I had a small talk with her. She of course recognized me from school, and we had a nice talk, and then we exchanged numbers in socials. So, with great trepidation, I did some light detective work to find out if she's single or not. To my great relief, I didn't find the presence of any guys in her feed, so my hopes went up a little. I reached out to her to hang out, fully expecting her to turn me down, but she expected, to my great surprise. So, we hung out, and I found out that we have a lot in common, and then we decided for a next meetup. Things picked up from there, and eventually we became boyfriend and girlfriend. She is everything I expected and more, plus she's also extremely happy with our relationship. We have been discussing marriage too. Anyways, last weekend we hosted her BFF and husband for a dinner at our house. The BFF is someone whom I'd known during our school days, and she's a good friend too. After dinner, we were shooting the breeze, and except me, everyone was pretty drunk, as they were staying the night at our place. So we were talking when her drunk BFF suddenly turned to my girlfriend and said, "Look how happy you are today, and I feel some sense of pride after looking at you two." I smiled and said, "Well, thank you." And then she continued talking to my girlfriend and said, "You didn't even want to give this guy a chance, and only agreed when I pestered you to go on a pity date with him, and your plan was to let him down easy after the said date. But instead, you guys are sitting here talking about your future together, and it makes me so happy that I convinced you to take a chance with him. Can you imagine if you had stuck to your original plan?" Her husband by now realized the awkwardness and led her away to sleep. I could see on my girlfriend's face that she was visibly stressed, so we went to bed too, and when she came to bed after changing clothes, she was already in tears. She took my hand in hers and said, "Please don't mind her words." I asked her, "Is it true?" and she admitted that yes, it was. She knew that I had always had a massive crush on her, so when I asked her out, she didn't want to be mean by turning me down harshly. So she discussed it with her BFF, who was also her roommate at the time, about the situation. The BFF knew me, so she tried to convince her to give me a chance, but the girlfriend was not convinced. Finally, the BFF asks her to go on about 2 to 3 dates with me, and then let me down easy, and girlfriend agreed. But then she found out that we really clicked together, and wanted to continue dating, and well, here we are 3 years later. I hugged her and said that it's okay, don't worry about it too much, as it's water under the bridge. But as you guys can tell, it is obviously bothering me. And I think she started to catch on too, as she's been extra attentive and loving to me since the incident. So Reddit, on the one hand, I am the guy who is literally going to be engaged and eventually married to my crush, and it's even better because our relationship is just how I imagined it to be, only 10 times better. On the other hand, it does sting a little knowing that she only agreed to go out with me because she pitied me, not gonna lie. Please knock some sense into me before I self-sabotage this wonderful relationship. Thank you. In the comments, don't let this sour what sounds like a really beautiful relationship. I know it sucks to hear that the backstory of your first date wasn't what you thought it was, and the way that it was told to you was a little shitty, but I think that it says a lot about what an awesome guy you are, because after just one date, she completely changed her mind about you. And her reaction to this really shows how much she cares for you. She didn't try to minimize it, and she didn't try to lie about it either. It sounds like she is validating your feelings and is being sweet and supportive. And remember, this was all based on her opinion of you before she really got to know you. And regardless of the reason, she did decide to go out with you, and she fell for you. You got your dream girl, and you guys sound really happy together. I think it's actually a really sweet story. Also, it very much could be that she didn't want to date OP because he never confessed, but everyone still knew of his crush. In high school, something similar happened with one of my friends. There was a guy who had a crush on her since they were in elementary, and almost everyone knew about it. But the guy wouldn't even talk to her. Over half their lives of knowing each other, and she barely knew anything about him because while he liked hovering around her, he also simultaneously avoided her like the plague. Kid was one of those genuinely nice guys, the kind that everyone would agree whoever ended up with would be treated like a queen no matter what, and we hoped that he ended up with someone who also treated him like a king. But hovering around someone you like and never uttering a single word to them for years kinda leaves a sour taste in your mouth, especially if you hadn't had the chance to figure out if you like them back because you never had a decent conversation, but the whole school is basically pressuring you to date them. He finally confessed the summer before our senior year, and they dated for a few weeks. She later told me that she partly said yes because she didn't want to be labeled a B when we came back to school, but also because she was genuinely interested in him based on the little that she knew. But during those few weeks, he basically ghosted her because of anxiety of finally landing his dream girl. The few times they did talk, the conversations were bone dry and uncomfortable. They mutually broke up in the end. I still talk to her, I didn't really know him, and she mentioned that she and him still talk, and he seems a lot more mature and confident in himself, but at the moment, they are just good friends. I don't even know why you would beat yourself up about why she decided to go out with you. So yeah, she even went out on a pity date with you, man. But your looks and personality won her over without even realizing the deck was stacked against you initially. And here you are 3 years later with your longtime crush in love with you. Recognize the win, my dude. And now, on to the update. So I guess I should tell you guys what happened after I made the post. In the morning, the BFF apologized for her insensitive comments the night before. She said that she got too drunk and that she wanted to take credit for setting us up and playing a matchmaker, but being drunk, she blurted out some unnecessary things. I said, of course, you don't have to apologize, as I have to thank her for me and my girlfriend going on that first date. After the BFF left, I went to my girlfriend and shared my feelings, and asked her why she was hesitant on going out with me. She then took my hands in hers, and she told me that it just felt awkward to her. She had known for years that I had a crush on her, on top of that I was younger and more junior than her. Her friends from back home sometimes used to tease her by taking my name, and almost all of our mutual friends know about my crush on her. So when I asked her out, she felt awkward because 1, I was more into her than she was into me even before going out on a single date, and 2, I had her on a pedestal and she was certain that reality was never going to meet my fantasy, so she wanted to avoid going through this. Also, she thought that I was a weirdo. She admitted it. Lol. But after her BFF went to bat for me, she decided to go out with me, and then let me down easy after 2 to 3 dates. Then I asked, well, what changed after the first date? And she said, well, you didn't give off any weird vibes. Yes, you were very happy and nervous as a result, but I didn't get any creepy vibes from you. You were just a guy with a crush with whom I had insane chemistry even on the first date. And now, 3 years later, I think I have a bigger crush on you than you ever had on me. After having this conversation, we went out to have dinner at the same restaurant where we had our first date, and even tried to order the same dishes. But alas, they had discontinued one of the dishes. Then we decided to order something entirely new, which we both had never had. Anyways, that was the update, guys. Thank you for reminding me how lucky I am. And P.S., we will be going ring shopping in the first week of December. Now in the comments, my dad's friend got a wife by standing on the market square with a sign stating that he is new in town, works in Factory X, and needs a date for a New Year's ball. His future wife felt adventurous. To this day, she tells how she got broke because she footed the bills and tickets for her friends who kept eye on them their first few dates. Still going strong after 40 years. Her reasoning was super understandable. I'm glad that she laid it out for them and they were able to move past it. Wholesome. Oh my god, yes. It is super awkward to know when someone has put you on a pedestal when you don't feel like they really know you at all. It can be a major red flag and make you question if someone actually likes you or if they like an idealized version of you that they created. I've been the recipient of being on a pedestal, not bragging since I am not all that to begin with, and oh my god, it is a lot of pressure. And worse when the chemistry is off and one is second-guessing themselves and thinking they are self-sabotaging. So I relate to the girlfriend here. She got lucky that her and OP got along right off the bat. I haven't been so lucky. I'm so glad to have read a great update. I get why she was hesitant. When someone has such a well-known crush on you, there is a ton of pressure if you go out. I know from experience. There is expectations and people have already been talking about what sort of couple you might be. There is teasing, etc. I ended up dating someone who had a crush on me because everyone said that I should give him a chance and I didn't want to judge. It turned out terribly. He had so many expectations for me and what I'd be like, and then everyone was always talking like, oh, they're finally together, making it harder to break off. But this worked out perfectly for them. She was able to get past that anxiety and worry and realized that she really liked him. I'm glad that it worked out because this is sweet. Our next post is titled, I'm planning on abandoning my family as soon as I turn 18. My family sucks. I, 17 male, turn 18 in 2 weeks, and I'm getting the F out of here as soon as the clock strikes midnight. My parents have extreme bias towards my younger brothers, 16 and 15 male. It's been like this forever. I have no idea why. I've always been the one who had to do all the chores in the house. I also have always been forced to play every single sport I possibly could, to the point where my schedule was packed 365 days a year. My father told me that it would teach me to be a real man. But my brothers never had to do any of that crap. They're both fat, lazy Fs who sit around and play video games all day and night. They miss school at least 30% of the year and are constantly spoiled rotten by my parents. They already have thousands of dollars from birthdays, Christmas, and other holidays. As soon as I turned 12, I was told I would no longer ever be receiving any gifts from my parents other than bare essentials. I was told that I had to pay for my phone and any other expenses I ever wanted to own, and to never ask for anything. I wasn't able to own a phone or anything really special for myself until I was 16 because I couldn't find any actual jobs that paid good money. My parents also expect me to take care of my younger brothers when I'm an adult. My younger brothers have both decided they will not be going to college and do not plan on working a day in their lives. My father told me, "We kept you alive. You owe it to us." F you. I'm leaving a nasty letter on the table when I leave, and I'm changing my phone number, emails, and everything. They will never be able to contact me no matter how hard they try. I know my younger brothers are going to be screwed for life since they have zero experience on how to survive in the real world. But I don't care. That is my parents' burden now. I hope they go broke from having to fund my brothers' lifestyles, and I hope they lose everything. I have no sympathy for these people, and I will never feel bad no matter what happens to them. The only thing that I owe to my parents is the fact that because of the shitty treatment over the years, I am well capable of surviving on my own in the world. I'll be going to college to study finance in Virginia. They have no idea that I've been accepted to any college, they never even asked, and I'm also very physically fit due to playing 6 sports a year. However, the trauma will never go away. They took away my entire childhood, and I will never forgive them for it. They can all go F themselves. In the comments, one suggestion I have for you when you're out before you change your phone number: contact your local police non-emergency line and tell them you were not missing and that you chose to leave, that you don't want contact with your family. Make sure they understand that you were not missing, even if your parents give them their names to try to report you missing. OP replies, "Hey, thanks for the advice. I was thinking about this last night after posting this." From the sounds of it, you will do fine. If your dad moans, tell him that you are doing what a man should do, making his own path in life. You don't owe them anything. Honestly, it sounds like OP got the best out of a shitty situation, and it also sounds like OP should do a DNA test. This reminds me of when I was 18. I had actually moved out at 17 because of how awful my mum and sister were. Dad wasn't really in the picture, and where he was no help either. My mum had moved us into her boyfriend's house about 2 hours away from our home. Everybody was upset and arguing, and there wasn't enough room in a tiny trailer for all the kids, let alone the older young adults. I remember Christmas coming up and them asking all the kids what they wanted for Christmas. I piped up and said that I needed some essentials. I was allowed $50 a month until I found a job, but ended up putting all the $50 in the gas tank, so nothing left over for shampoo, conditioner, deodorant, etc. When I said that I needed the essentials, they all stopped talking and looked at me funny. And I'll remember this for the rest of my life. The boyfriend said, "You aren't working, so you don't get a Christmas this year." And then he and my mum bursted out laughing. I'm 29 now, and I rarely, if ever, talk to my mum. I never did talk to the boyfriend of hers again. They broke up soon after that Christmas. That damage. That one sentence has left a scar on my soul since. My self-esteem was already so withered from other things, and to me, that was the nail in the coffin. I hope you're able to never talk to your family again. That's one thing I wished I was able to do, was have the guts and the means to never speak to any of them again. Best of luck to you. And now, on to the update. I am happy to report that I am officially gone. So the last 2 weeks after I made the post have been crazy stressful, but I'll sum them up here. I changed my number a few days ago by calling my SIM card provider. Then I went and got a copy of my birth certificate, since I don't know where my actual birth certificate was. I couldn't just ask my parents, and I also made sure to check that my bank account was secure and not shared with my parents. I purchased a plane ticket last week to fly into Dulles International Airport in Virginia, just outside of where I'll be attending college in Fairfax. Finally, I called one of my cousins, whom I'm very close with, and asked him to please pick me up at around 12:30 a.m. last night. He agreed with my decision to leave, and he told me that he was proud of me for taking action to improve my life. I packed my stuff up after everyone had gone to sleep, and I waited. I decided to keep my note to my family short and sweet. All I wrote down was that I was moving to go to college in California and that I was never coming back. So last night, my cousin picked me up and we went to the police station, where I gave them my proper identification and informed them that I am not missing and am leaving on my own accord now that I am 18. They told me they'll keep it in mind and will watch out for that potential call in the next few days. I got a few hours sleep at my cousin's and then flew out of New Orleans International at 6 a.m. I am now sitting in my college dorm 950 miles from home, and I've never been happier in my life. I can't wait to meet new people and finally enjoy my youth. Thank you to everyone who gave me great advice on here and commented their support. I didn't expect this post to take off like it did, but I'm happy my story has affected so many. I will update again in a few weeks. And now on to the final update. Damn, this post took off again these past few days. My phone has been blowing up with demands for an update, so I shall deliver. Life has been good. I've been in contact with a cousin who helped me and also a few other family members from back home. He said that my mother came to their house the day after I left to talk to my aunt about me leaving. She cried and gave my aunt this whole sob story about how she can't believe that I would abandon them. And my aunt told her maybe she shouldn't have treated me so wrongly throughout my whole life, which caused a huge fight and ended up with my mum being thrown out of their house. So it seems me leaving has caused pretty much the uproar that I imagined. I've been doing well, I've met plenty of new people, and I've made friends via classes and dorm neighbors. I'm in a better mental state than I've been in a very long time. I feel so relieved, and it just feels like a huge weight is lifted off my shoulders. It feels so good coming on here and reading all the support and positive comments I'm receiving. I'm really grateful for this community. I will continue posting updates in weeks to come. Thanks for everything, everyone. In the comments, can we take a moment to appreciate the aunt saying a well, if it isn't the consequences of your actions, and get the F out of my house with your lying, denying bullcrap. Yeah, the aunt and cousin are also some real stars here. It's good that OP wasn't entirely alone in that family, even if his immediate one sucked. I'm choosing to believe his extended family was all waiting on his 18th birthday to start giving just desserts. Nothing OP said sounds egregious enough any kind of law would care about it. Like, what were the parents expecting? I really don't understand why they came up with this plan for their kid's life, why they thought that it would work, why they thought that at 40 years old, OP would be spending all of his money on his siblings who refuse to do anything with their life. They are stupid and abusive and really dumb. It's a good thing that he left them. They thought they'd broken him enough that he wouldn't fight back, or didn't really consider him to be an actual person with actual feelings, and instead thought he was just their homegrown nanny/slave. OP is undoubtedly either the "oh crap, I'm pregnant, we have to get married" child, or the "oh crap, I had an affair" child. A dear friend and my first boyfriend were both have to children, and this is spot on with the way that they were treated versus their younger siblings. As an affair child, can confirm. I can tell you the exact ending for the brother, seeing as both my half-brothers from each side got everything they ever wanted. One lives his life couch surfing and mooching off of his friends, most of which are rich, and has not run out of them yet. I'm waiting to see the outcome. My sperm donor let him live at his house forever, even after college. So dude is just at 30 and never had a job somehow and is still managing to work that out. The other, my stepdad's son, is a little worse for wear. See, he never knew what my mum was like when the guy she was with was gone. I did, my entire life, so I knew what was gonna happen. Well, stepdad passed away and my mum cut him off so fast, he didn't know what to do. He spent so much time in college wasting everyone else's money, transitioning to, I have to finish right now, after 7 years. Then just ended up being a barback and bartender for ages. As of Thanksgiving, we all found out he's going to apply for another bar job in another state. But he's also done HVAC, insurance sales, and landscaping. He just switches jobs every 6 or so months and moves on to the next, and it's always the same excuse. Those people were wrong, and it's not my fault that I'm smarter than them. This is what happens when you don't raise your kids right. I bailed at 17, spent years in the military at forcing my mum to sign the underage paperwork because I was a month shy, then when I got moved out and over to tech and just did everything in my power to survive, then thrive. It sucks that it had to be that way, but she did teach me budgeting, and unfortunately, she had a separate checking account the entire time that I had to track along with a whole other list of stupid, dirty secrets. All of which taught me to survive. I'm not even sure if it was on purpose or not, and she'll never tell me, I'm sure. And that's where I'm going to end today's episode, guys. I do hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.